now 2020. I am now in fourth year. Remember, as I told you, I had done all these electives in gender, human rights, rights of a child, international law background. So now we are going to our final year of law school, and now we are selecting our thesis. And my thesis for my LLB was titled Criminalization of Marital Rape in Kenya. As of 2020 and even to date, marital rape is not yet criminalized in Kenya. So that means a woman or a man cannot go to a court of law and report the partner for marital rape. So that was very fascinating to me because I think that consent is needed whether in marriage or in a casual relationship or in a formal relationship. I think has to be given, and saying yes I do when you get married or when you exchange vows is not a lifetime consent to having sexual relations with your partner. So I was doing this program, and a bit of context also, at this point I was doing a lot of some online work on the sides just to get some extra income. So I used to do legal transcription online, and yes, so I was doing a bit of that here and there. I used to be a legal transcriber, and then COVID happened, and classes had to discontinue. We had to go back home, and so I left Nairobi, went to Kakamega. At this point, we have a lot of programs that were still ongoing, especially around menstrual health advocacy in schools. The Ministry of Health just kept sending, directives: don't socially organize, wear masks, and then by around March, April, we could no longer do any community activity or any physical activity because it was more of a risk to the members because COVID-19 was spreading like wildfire. So now I had to get creative because I still had this big passion in my heart to create an impact in the lives of women, in the lives of youth. How could I do it? And so I started learning about something called online advocacy. And so I took to my social media pages and used these digital platforms to be able to still use my digital voice to just create an impact online. At this juncture, I was getting freelance opportunities to create awareness about COVID-19 hygiene maintenance and just fighting misinformation and disinformation. There was a lot of fake news online around COVID-19, and so I would be involved in advocacy around just this disabusing these myths and this misinformation and disinformation. So that was really amazing. At this juncture also, I had started getting into different networks, both locally, regionally, and internationally, such as the Young African Leadership Initiative, YALI network initiative by Barack Obama and USAID. And at this juncture now, I am now getting to connect with other youth change makers from different countries. Remember now, all of us different young change makers cannot do anything in our community. So we are collectively engaging online. So there were a lot of webinars, there were a lot of online programs, and we'd plug in and then we'd start creating WhatsApp groups, and you meet amazing young people doing great things in Nigeria, in South Sudan, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, Malawi. It was really, really amazing. So I did a number of online fellowships. I did one on African politics and leadership. I did one with Femnet on feminist macroeconomic policies. I did one on human rights advocacy, cross-cultural diversity, equity, and inclusion. I was just stacking up my certifications because remember, at this point, our studies have been discontinued. I have all this time on my hands and also all this passion in my heart, and so I wanted to also just build my knowledge around youth advocacy, online advocacy, and now I was building this network of fellow change makers, of fellow peers, who are doing amazing things. And we had similar challenges. We had financial constraints. You're trying to do a lot, but you don't have funds. And so we were just coming together to do something. Of course, most of it was around the challenges that accrued because of COVID-19 lockdown and pandemic, such as increased levels of teenage pregnancy, as was seen in the news and the reports in Kenya, high rates of gender-based violence, and especially domestic violence. And so we're doing all these things, but and anyone who is in this space knows that with limited funds, you can only do so much. But we were still creative, so we'd still support each other's projects online and all of that. And then I came up with an idea, a very amazing idea. And in November, around the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, I organized a virtual benefit concert, and it brought together more than 35 young upcoming artists from more than 15 African countries, and the whole idea was to create awareness around violence against women, gender-based violence, but also to raise some funds to help affected people who are affected by violence as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. Then we go to 2021. So remember the information I told you about being a legal transcriber. So lockdown is happening, people are losing their jobs, businesses have closed down, finances are reducing. And so I remember one day I took to my social media and I said, guys, if you want to make an extra income, you can work online, you can work for a company in the US, you can sell your skills and services online and make an income. And I got an overwhelming response of people on my Facebook and Instagram, all of who are women, coincidentally, and they were like, I'm interested, I want to make some extra income, I'm going broke, what do I do? And so I thought, why not do something with this? Because what I had learned from doing menstrual health advocacy and donating of sanitary products in schools was I quickly realized how that is not sustainable. It's like the analogy of giving someone fish instead of teaching them how to fish. And so I thought, okay, why not come up with an initiative that can empower women economically, and so they don't need to get handouts, rather they can be able to afford quality sanitary products and whatever else they deserve without having to be given handouts. And so that is how She Goes Digital was born in 2021 as a pilot project. So with the support again of an organization from the US, we were able to test the project and the product in the community, and it was a huge resounding success. So essentially what the idea was that just equipping young women and girls with digital skills to be able to make a decent income online. And then again, the world was watching, and I was also applying for a number of opportunities, and I was lucky, or I was honored to be selected as one of the youth envoys at International Telecommunications Union, which is the UN agency for ICTs, as their Generation Connect youth envoys. And so that was really amazing because, I was doing a lot. I don't think these videos are doing it justice. I'll probably write a book about it, but I had done a number of projects. I think I did 2020, 2021, I had done 50 plus online and physical projects just around women and youth. And so to be able to see that an organization like the UN seeing what I'm doing and seeing that I deserve a chance to put my voice on the global stage, that meant a lot. I remember we were around I think 70 of us globally, and in Kenya we were only the 2 of us, and so my voice became global. So I think we're going to talk about now 2022 to 2023 in the next video.